Good morning, everybody. Thank you very much for coming out here and spending some time with us this morning. On behalf of everybody from NLB Corporation, I would like to thank you for doing that. My name is Jim Van Dam. I'm with Mark Franklin this morning, and we're going to have the opportunity to tell you about some of the new technology that NLB has been developing. We're going to start with this product right back here. This is a hot water pressure washing unit. And quite honestly, I've been asked a couple times, why is NLB building a hot water pressure washer unit? And I'll tell you why. It's because a number of our customers have been finding out that if you have hot water at pressures below 5,000 psi, you can do some of the applications that required a much higher pressure. And so these customers of ours had been using some of the hot water units that are out there in the field. And they quickly realized that although the hot water did what they needed it to do, the units themselves were not up to the level of the reliability that they came to expect from NLB equipment. So this is what we developed. This particular unit is a 3,500 psi unit. It puts out 15 gallons per minute. We have another version that's a 4,950 psi model, and that puts out about 9 gallons a minute. This is a very, very robust product. This power end is the same one that we use at up to 150 horsepower. It has an all-new fluid end on it that's been designed for hot water. It has a large fuel tank that provides plenty of fuel for both the engine and the burner. It's a 700,000 BTU hot water burner, very, very heavy duty. So this is it's a hot water unit that will run and run and run and run day in and day out. And the people that are using them love them. Along with this, we've had to develop some new tooling because most of the tooling that's out there for hot water units can't handle the flow that this tool puts out. So we've worked with new hand lances. We've worked with self-rotating nozzles on the end of those hand lances. We've developed floor tools that can handle the hot water and the flow. The newest one that we've worked on is what's in this tote right here, and it is a 3D tool. So it's a tool that will run up to 15 gallons per minute, up to 5,000 psi, with temperatures up to about 250. Yeah, no, I got that wrong. Up to 5,000 psi, 250 degrees. So that's the hot water unit, and one of the new tools that we have. These are available at all of our branch locations. We rent them, we sell them, all the tooling is there. So we'd like you to keep them in mind as your next job comes around and think about if that hot water at high flow might be able to do something for you. The next thing I want to talk about is this pump that's behind me here. This is an NLB 225 series water blasting unit. This particular one is set up for 20,000 psi, about 22 gallons a minute. And it is probably one of the most popular high pressure water blasting units in the world. And it is because of its reliability, its durability. And as you look at it, it looks very similar to other NLB pumps that you've seen in the past. But this one's got a couple of new things about it. And one of those things is the fact that it's missing a PTO. You'll notice that there's no traditional PTO, there's no transmission, there's no obvious way of connecting that pump to the engine. Besides, you can see there's a drive shaft. What we have here is NLB's new E-clutch. And the E-clutch is it's an electromagnetic device that couples and decouples the pump from the engine. And what does that do? Well, not least of what it does is it eliminates the PTO. We found that over the years at NLB, one of the biggest issues that people come to us with, it's not the power end, it's not the fluid end, it's actually PTO issues. And those issues were keeping people from using the pumps as they're intended to be used. And so what we're showing you here is something it's been in development about 2.5 years, and we're finally ready to release it. These units are getting into our rental fleet. We have people running them. So what we're going to show first is a tool that's running with this unit, really just using the E-clutch as a PTO. We're going to start this unit up, and one thing you're going to notice is that instead of having to actuate a PTO handle, all the operator has to do is flip this switch. The pump will engage, the high pressure water will come, and it'll really be used just as a traditional PTO, but the PTO is missing. Let's go ahead, Mark. There was the NLB E-clutch unit running as a standard unit, pumping high pressure water. You know, as we looked for a way to get rid of that PTO, we thought about some different things. We thought about direct couple. We have some customers who have no means of disconnecting the pump, and that's a good option in some places, but a lot of our customers, especially in the north, need to be able to warm the engine up and run it. So we knew that direct couple really wasn't the best option. We looked at transmissions. You know, a transmission can be a nice option, but a transmission is expensive, it's complex. We build transmission units all the time, but as a means to solve this across the board, there wasn't a good option. What we had developed is really, we think, a great solution. It's really revolutionary. It's simple, it's inexpensive, there's no adjustments. When it actuates almost instantly, so there's very little wear. And one of the best things is that it's very inexpensive. You can get a unit today with an NLB E-clutch for the same price as a PTO. There's absolutely no change in price. It's no more expensive. I want to talk a little bit about this tool that Mark used to demo the pump. This is NLB's micro arm. And it's a device that attempts to get the high pressure water lance out of the operator's hand. It's a theme that we hear more and more about. This tool has been around about a year. We actually showed a version of it last year. It's a neat tool. It's all electric. All the actuators are electric. There is a pneumatic, but there's an onboard air compressor to provide that air that's required. What we've added this year is something that has been available on our other arms. We have this guy's big brother called the mini arm, and then the arm, which is the largest of our arm tools, and they all have this actuation at the end that gives you this left and right movement of the nozzle. This tool in its previous version did not have that. We've now added that. It's something that the customers have asked for, and we think it's something that'll give this tool a lot more flexibility. The last thing I want to talk to you about is really the one that I'm probably most excited about. We've talked about E-clutch. We've talked about how it can be used as a replacement to the PTO. But what we realized very quickly that is now that we can disconnect the pump from the engine very quickly and very reliably, what we needed were a line of tools to allow people to do that. And that's what we've developed. We have a new line of tools that we're calling E-Sync. And it consists of a foot box, a handheld pendant, and a hand lance that's sitting over here against the fence. These tools run on the 900 megahertz radio spectrum. They sync with a unit via this sync cord. So to use one of these tools with any e-sync pump, you simply connect this line, you turn on the pump, the two talk back and forth, they select a portion of the 900 megahertz spectrum that they want to operate on, and until that pump is turned off, that tool and that pump are linked together. And there's some really cool things about that. One is that you've got a foot box now that can be sitting anywhere. It doesn't have to be anywhere near a high pressure water line. Any of you that have used a foot box, it's hooked up, you know there's vibrations, you know when you come off the pedal that thing wants to jump around, you know that you've quickly got a big puddle of dump water around you. When you don't want high pressure water, there is no water being pumped, period. There is no water coming out of the pump. Same with the pendant. Instead of having to use a foot box, let's say you're standing somewhere where there's a foot deep of residue that's coming out of the blast process. This is a tool you can put on your belt. When you want high pressure water, you actuate it. When you don't, it's not pumping. The other tool is a hand lance. This is a dual trigger hand lance. Both triggers have to be actuated in order to get high pressure water. All of these tools work on the exact same radio system. They all use the same small, easy to get battery. The system comes with a battery charger. It comes with a spare battery. These tools will run for about 40 hours, continuous signal. So that would mean you'd have to be sitting here pushing this button all the time. If you're not pushing the button or sending a signal, it's not pulling any radio drain. So what we're going to do is we're going to sync the foot box up to the unit. And then Mark is going to use it to run this new Peinemann TLX tool. While he's doing that, I do want to remind everybody that we are carrying a lot of the Peinemann tools at all of our offices. We're carrying parts. We have them in our rental facility. So we want to remind everybody that the next time you need a hose feeder or some sort of a flex frame, that stuff is available from NLB for sale or for rent. You ready, Mark? Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to start the unit up, and you're going to watch Mark stop and start this high pressure pump doing a tube bundle, and I want you to notice that when he's not pumping high pressure water for the water blasting process, there's no water coming out of this pump. So that is the new eSync set of tools from NLB Corporation. We have been working on these for well over a year. We've had them out in the field. We've had customers that have been testing them, helping us refine them, and we're really anxious to get them out to all of you and to let you use them on your applications. Again, you'll see there's no water underneath this pump. There's no bypass. There's no cartridges. This doesn't see any pressure. You have one tool for every pressure that you want to convert this pump to. The pendant, there's no pressure, so it's not a pressure-sensitive device. The hand lance itself, we make different versions depending on what pressure you want to run at. We have different tips, and we have different inlet adapters, but that's the only difference between these things, the piece of color coding and the adapters. It's a 40K piece of tubing. So really you have one hand lance that can run at any of the pressures that you can set these pumps up to run at. So that's it. We would love to talk to you more about this. I'm sure people are going to have questions as you start to think about these tools. There will be questions, and we'd love to answer them for you. So please stop back by here after the demos are over, or come see us inside. We have all these tools in there, and either I or myself or somebody else from NLB will be happy to talk to you about them. Thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of the demos.